style. You ain't know this game. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. You don't even know my pain. You can't even match my style. You don't even know this game. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah, 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 yeah. Been in this thing for a while. Been in this thing for a while. Yeah.
We're failing as a black community, if not already failed. At what point we gonna start being honest? The image of black women, and it's not just her. I don't want to make this just about her. But why is it that in this society where they would cancel you for anything they don't agree with? The only thing you don't have to worry about them canceling you for is the negative image of black women. It's not just her. Let's look across social media. Look across the TV networks. Where is it where you just see, just show me the other black women too. If y'all gonna show me this type of black woman, please give me the other ones. Show me the ladies. Show me the ones that carry themselves. Baby, you can be a freak behind closed doors. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But God damn.
Bro, what a way to come in, Mo.
Bro.
I feel like, was that you? Was that you? Was
that me getting it off like that? That's that.
That like a Moism right
playing
there.
Playing my tune, boy.
That's a Moism right there. We can get into it, man.
What's his name? Let me make sure I get his name right here.
Yeah, get that young brother.
Or at least the page is on Don Salmon.
Don Salmon, shout out to him, man. Well, you know why we here? Blackness versus ignorance, Mo. That's the thing for this week.
He dropping the verse right away. He ain't gonna let the beat build. I like that.
Well, I just wanted to, I feel like behind that, after that right there, you got to come in hot.
You're right. You're right.
But that'll give you the theme. We'll give them something to wait for.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with something different, a little lighter, little, you know how we do, go around the globe, see what's in the zeitgeist, what people are talking about, give our opinions on it as black man. If you don't know it yet, where you at, we happy you're here. They had Fridays like this and what, Mo?
Since Fridays was like this, man.
Absolutely, man. It's another week in the books. I am Spike Lou. We appreciate you guys joining us, man. Gonna be some big announcements for another week in the book, fans. Really nothing that y'all got to do differently, but just some recognition that we received and bigger things and opportunities are going to be out there for Mo and myself. So I do want to say good job, Mo. Getting a lot of good feedback still out here in these streets, man. Some opportunities have presented themselves that's going to help us take this thing to another level.
Yeah, I look forward 100%. To it, man. We just want to get, feed the people, man. Give them the goods, bro. Pause.
Keep feeding more people, man. If you don't know what we do, this is another week in the books. Again, having conversations amongst black men that we usually don't have, but we try to make it more comfortable to have with your black men in your life. So let's start it with these black men that got into it, man. You know, everybody that listen to this show, they know I'm a big Joe Budden fan, man. Joe is brilliant.
Former Joe Budden fan over here, by the way. So
former's crazy. You have a reason not to like him? There's been a lot of stuff about Joe that the whole situation came back. That situation is never gonna die.
It's never gonna die.
It's been 3 years, bro. They brand new Rory and Mal shit.
That's almost like I ain't gonna even take it there. Never mind. I'm gonna reserve that. That wasn't gonna be a good comment. But yeah, that ain't gonna never die.
Gotcha. Rich in your head, man. Rich is in your head, man. Man. He got you holding.
I could hear Jimmy.
That's hilarious, man. Shout out to our guest last week, young Jimmy, the comedian.
Yeah, shout out to him, man.
Great job, funny man, funny stories. Y'all go check him out if he's in town near you. I was speaking about Joe Budden though. Well, over the weekend, the scuttlebutt started presenting itself on the internet. It seemed as if Joe had got snuck in the strip club. Man, this is a week after Caesar's brother, Caesar, the real estate dude with envy, who's gotten into some trouble lately. This is a week after his brother approached Joe while Joe was out smoking hookah with the phone out, antagonizing him, trying to get Joe to react. Joe came and he talked about it on his podcast. Now, after that part, he was out at the strip club. And from what I'm reading, this is alleged. I don't know. I haven't listened to the episode yet. So I'll have more information once I listen to the episode. But from what I'm reading, he was snuck in the strip club. And people are alleging, Mo, that it was behind some comments that he had about Tax. Tax, the former famous podcaster who's now serving time for murder. Said Tax sent some dudes over to go holler at him, man. I don't know if they got the ups on Joe what. I don't know the details in that sense, but I did want to present a deeper question. We get on here, we talk behind these mics, Mo, and we have our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they have the right to their opinions, right? But you also can't go too far. You got to be professional, I feel like, in what you're doing and saying. If people get offended by it, so what? But it shouldn't be a violent thing. So how do you feel about rappers, podcasters, whatever it may be, being attacked for something that they may say on a podcast when you're out living your day-to-day, you with your family, you enjoy your free time, somebody don't like what you say and they in your grill? You think they have the right to do that?
They do got the right to do that.
Mm.
They're not on the contract. They're not under contract to say, oh, because you said this and you're doing this, I have this agreement to do. I mean, that is repercussions. You might get arrested for assault and all that. That's a part of it too. But at the same time, it's like,
so you're right. That's the better question then. Is it worth it? Is it worth? I heard this on a podcast. I didn't like it. Now I'm finna stalk this nigga. I'm finna run up on him. I'm finna make him embarrassed by posting this shit on social media. Is it worth that?
Nah, it's not. No, it's not. I can let a lot of stuff slide. Like that's that street. Well, first when I heard you on deck, I was like, I can't believe this guy. I was like, bro, you were wilding.
What are you talking about? Tell me again.
After finding out, like he told this man, like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like he told a man to perform a blowjob on him. Like I'm being clean here. Obviously, he didn't say it in that way, but he told him like that's how I feel about it. You can do that.
Yeah.
And then you were like, bro, I don't care if you like. That's where you crossed the line. That's why I did feel AB when he was saying it's like when you start talking that type of way, we're not talking about. This is not really commentary now. This is something else, and that's the line that I feel you can get into that violent water.
Mm.
You can't talk like that about no. I don't care where I am, though. You can't. If somebody tell you, I mean, you might brush it off. Somebody tell you like whatever. I don't understand. But like, you're not gonna like just be talking any kind of way. Like, let's say that ain't the thing that moves you, but they say something that might be like about your mom or something like, hey, whoa, bro. Like you like, hey, hold up, wait. You ain't talking about me as an entertainer now. You talking about something else because you trying to get under my skin. Because you got personal,
you letting them, right? But if they win, if they're intentionally trying to get under your skin, and now you're feeling confrontation.
Everything
Isn't that a win for the person that was trying to get under your skin?
It's not always about a win or a loss, though, bro. That life ain't all about that. It ain't though.
Once somebody said sometimes it's about what principle, morals.
Yeah, yeah. I like what Rich always says. Violence is never the way until it is.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. Like violence is never the way until it is, and you can't control someone's reaction. But violence is such a powerless position. Like violence is a last resort, powerless position. I can't do anything else to you, so I got to put my hands on you. Like when see. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm interrupting. My bad. Go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead. You said
I don't think. I don't think that it's not a powerless position. I don't think that it's a position that it can be put in depending on the stakes, it can be put in that rank of power. Like it's at the lower end of like your reach, but I don't think that's always scenarios.
We appreciate that more. We appreciate violence more because we don't come from shit anyway. Like if you're talking about black men and like, let's keep it real. And so if you're talking about black men in the conversations that we're having,
yeah.
Like Pac said a long time ago, to build a war, you got to have your money right. War don't necessarily include violence. Like what other approaches, how much power do I have to make your life a living hell?
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it like that. It ain't a lot of niggas in positions of power where they going to beef with their enemies and be like, I can box this nigga out to get money. I can box this nigga out operating over on this side of town or whatever you do. I'm just going to make your life miserable versus a physical altercation with you. A physical altercation, you get that, okay, then so what? I mean, okay, then next what? However, if it's real beef and you are into it with somebody in a position of power, violence that ain't how they get you. Like that's not how they're going to get the ups on you. People with things and that are in positions where I can make your life a living hell. Before they hit you in your mouth, they're gonna make your life a living hell because that's worse on you. Versus just running up on a nigga, hitting him in the jaw. You risking a charge, like you said.
Mm-hmm. But he ain't got nothing to lose though. And sometimes you gotta understand too, bro. Like everybody's not a king on the chessboard. So they're okay with, I know I'm not gonna take your queen off the map, but I'm damn sure gonna take this rook. And sometimes,
or a couple pawns,
a couple pawns. Okay, I'll probably say a little more than that because if you got tagged or whatever, it's more than a pawn, bro. A pawn is like a tweet. You know what I mean?
Nobody see it though. Nobody see it.
Hey, but it's in the news. It don't matter.
Yeah.
It's the look is there. It's happening, bro. It's a fact now. But I'm saying it's like some people like him in his position, he ain't got nothing to lose. He's doing life. I mean, would I do this now?
I feel like that's ignorant on his end though. Feeling like I don't have anything to lose is the reason why Tax is sitting in jail now.
Yeah, that's fine.
A nigga can say he got approached or whatever it may be and he was self-defense, but it didn't come out to be that way, my nigga. You sitting in jail. You could have did shit a lot differently, but you still operating the same way. So he do got something to lose. You like
what do he have to lose? Like
reputation. You already made one dumb mistake. You was on your way to being one of the most popular podcasters, probably one of the most lucrative careers that you could have had. Because still to this day, no one has filled that lane that he provided. It was something unique, something new. And now you're sitting in jail. And now because you're sitting in jail and you hear a nigga say, suck my dick, I call a nigga up and be like, hey, man, stalk him out. When you see him up in dreams next time, hit him in the mouth for your boy.
Bro, but you don't know.
Okay,
you don't know.
You get from that, though?
Bro, but you don't know. But what's his conditions in prison, though? Oh, did you hear that? Oh man, you heard that? He talking wild out there, bro. They all up in
jail.
Yeah, you all up in the prison yard working out. Hey, yeah, man.
Saying though.
Yeah, but
that's out in jail.
Niggas, bro, that's his life now. That's his life. Like you.
That's my point.
No, that's my point.
I think the biggest. So let's remove it from dude. I think the bigger conversations to have is not resorting to violence is. We were conditioned to think that was cool with the movies and the music and the shit that we grew up to in the 90s. But as you start to consume more content and you get more information, you understand that like violence really, that's the last resort.
Yeah.
That's if you fucked me all the way, like you say, like Tax. I ain't got shit to lose anyway. I'm in jail, gonna go to jail. I ain't got a bad job. I don't have kids, family, or wife. Like, who cares if I'm spending the rest of my life in jail? So any chance I want to or can get violent, I am going to do so. I'm just saying that's not a position of power. That's not a position of leverage what we're trying to create. I just don't look at it that way. And especially I think now that we're able to spread more information, more of us should see it that way. Like, bro, I'm sitting here fighting with I'm in here fighting with you over a parking spot or some road rage shit. Like, nah. If I really care that much, I'm gonna find out who you is, make your life difficult, and do anything that I can. But as far as getting out the car and fighting with you, like, my nigga, please.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm totally with you. I just think in a scenario like that, and we're gonna move it from that part of it. But like, I just think in a scenario like that, it's like we don't know the conditions of what it is, and it's like again, it's like his goal is not trying. He's not built. I feel like to try to take your whole operation down, and definitely not from his position. But it's like, bro, I'm getting my lick back. Like that's kind of it. You know, that's it. Joe is gonna keep flourishing, and it's gonna be nothing. Within a week. So. But what I do want to say that gets challenging, you're absolutely right on us being conditioned as far as we always say, like, they say nigga to me, I'm going to hit them. Like, no, I'm not. Because this is the scary thing about that. We talk about violence. That could have been a theme in itself. But, like, we talk about violence and, like, retaliation from, like, black men and feeling the need to get physical. It's here's the scary part for me. It's like I'm almost like reverse conditioned. Like, I've had the observation. I realize how fast it can get snatched. We've both been to jail before. We see how fast things can change, like just like that. So especially when the law works against our favor, even in a self-defense moment, you may second guess if I'm going to necessarily do this. I may whop him. We might break it even. Charges might be pressed, may not. But now I got to strategically plan. Am I going to be okay with the possibility of what the results are? So that's like one of my things. I'm like, bro, I hope I never get in a position where I have to make that type of judgment call, because you know what probably will come with it. You may get dealt a bad hand, but you were in the right, but it required that because there was no other. That is always one of the things that it's such a challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. It is a challenge. And before we go to the next one, you're speaking from a position of a man who now has things to
Yeah.
lose.
Yes.
Your family, your children are on the way, like the career you're trying to build, a business you want to build. A lot of the times, I would say the reason that violence is our go-to amongst black men is because out of everyone else in our society, usually we are the ones with the least to lose. Usually we're not ingrained in the community, or you don't have like stuff you're trying to like. You do have stuff you're trying to go home to, but you don't got as much to lose just due to systematic oppression, whatever it may be. You don't have as much to lose usually as a white woman, a white man, a black woman, an Asian one. Like usually black men have a lot less to lose than they do. Or at least some of us think that way anyway. Oh, I got to ride for my pride. It don't matter, nigga. I go do the little time behind that. It ain't nothing but a little light 5. Most people don't look at it like we do because it's not normalized within their culture. It ain't normal to go to jail for 4 5 years and be like, oh, that ain't nothing, dog. I eat that. Like, nigga, what? But I do believe that with information being so key now, we're in the information age. It was a study came out, said people listen to more podcasts, music, news than they did. Like music is the lowest it's been listened to since the 50s. People are consuming just more informational stuff. So I say that to say we are in a position now as black men to provide that information. Like, now you do have shit to lose. Like, it don't necessarily have to be violence. If you want to be a spiteful, vindictive motherfucker, then go be that. But it don't have to resort in violence and you going to jail. Like, you can work yourself up into a position where, like, I remember what that motherfucker done to me. I remember what he said. And at some point in time, even if you got to be a spiteful and that's your motivation versus reacting to a nigga and being violent and you getting taken off the chessboard, as you said earlier, I would rather nigga just sit back and play his move. If you that type of nigga, I'm personally not a vindictive, grudge holding person. So probably like it takes a lot to affect me. However, if you are that person versus letting someone trick you out of your spot, then build yourself up to where you can put them in a position where their life gonna be hard.
Yeah,
I would look at that as more beneficial than hitting a nigga in his jaw. Sometimes the other one feel better.
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, you get the instant gratification.
Right?
Like, you like, man, I got him and I know he can't whoop me for real. But taking it back though, I mean, I know you were speaking a little bit more about like, because you were saying like kind of like being in this position, you did make now you came back crazy. Like when I was like, man, this nigga wilding. You came back crazy when you started making the references to like a Stephen A. Smith and like ESPN, where you were talking about. So when they say something, y'all want to go and actually go try to tag them, but this is their job, you know. But when it comes to podcasters or radio hosts, y'all feel that y'all can do that. They can be reached, and you can get that way with them. It's just, I know we talked about it last week and the week before, but like the responsibility to the platform. I think that I speak for myself, and you've been doing this longer than I have, but like. To triple down on, I guess at this point, it's like I think that you got to understand that somebody may hear this. Like this ain't, I can't just put on. Like this is a very, just like the foundation of hip hop was built on authenticity and the reporting of what was actually happening in our neighborhoods and streets. Like when we do this, I got to understand there could be repercussions if I speak a certain way about things and somebody gets a hold of it and it reaches somebody. So I think on our end, just like a Chris Rock telling a stand-up joke, you got to understand that when you're speaking about these people are real people, and it's not that many degrees of separation as we think it is. So I do think that we have to be intentional and wise in how we speak about other people. Like we can't act like they'll never hear this. I feel like we have to treat it like they may hear this, and even if we disagree with something, we had the highest respect for them as black entertainers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. I don't see no problem with that at all. There is a responsibility to doing this.
Yeah.
Can't just say what you want to say wild out, and well, you can to get views and shit, but it'll catch up to you too.
Yeah,
you have situations like Ack and Joe Budden and all of that. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
There is some level of integrity that's taken. If you do have an opinion, it can be less personal. You can make it more about the opinion than the person. So
true. That's true.
Yeah. That's a fact. All right, Mo. You want to address that clip at the beginning?
All right, yeah, that was a crazy little flip how we just did that. made it, let it marinate. So what was the clip? Was it from an award show? It was Sexy Red. We've talked about this young lady.
Yeah, so it's been going. It's a viral clip. Of course, Sexy Red rapper. She's pregnant, and she's still been getting it in, which she can every right to do so. Mm-hmm. She was performing in some hot shorts, like the little booty shorts and a crop top with her stomach exposed. And she was twerking, made it drop to the floor. Mm-hmm. So there's been conversation online about like the representation or how this looks for Black women, for Black people.
Yeah.
And the show theme this week is Blackness versus Ignorance. So I felt like that would be a good starting point, foundation mm-hmm. for the conversation.
Yeah.
And you guys heard the clip at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I echo the same sentiments, bro. Like as the gentleman that we played at the beginning. The more I've sat and processed not just that clip, but just what's been happening in the culture lately, I've more so realized it's like, my bigger issue, and I had issues I've talked about on previous episodes about like how, the bigger higher ups on radio programming and like kind of the exposure. That's my issue. The biggest issue for me is the exposure element. It's like, I just feel like, and people say, oh, that, nah, bro, not at the same scale. I feel like when it comes to Black people in the entertainment industry, they got us out here looking like monkeys. Like, because what they highlight these things that over-sexualize, overly, overly gangsterized, overly, is he gay? Isn't he gay? Like, we just overly, they do a hyper version of Black people when it comes to us. I feel like there's just never a level of between that entertain. You can see some like authenticity. It's never really there. I mean, sure, you can go to their social media page or go this and that, but it's the exposure and the journalistic integrity that, like, when it comes to us, I feel like everybody's just watching like dance monkeys. And so then you go to work and then people are so surprised at how civilized and regular you are and how much you care about the same regular things that the white individual cares about. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll go on, but what did you feel about it before I keep going? Because I feel like I'm gonna get on my soapbox today because I've been grumpy here.
Surprise.
Shocker.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
No. When you say they, I hate when people go, well, who is they? So I'm not going to ask you that. Mm-hmm. But I'll ask you this. When you say dance monkey, do you feel like that there is someone that's telling a Sexy Red or any other person that you want to refer to that doesn't represent a upstanding image of Black people per se? Like, do you feel like that someone is having a conversation with them and is telling them, hey, you should act like this and we'll promote you more?
Oh, absolutely. These people, they good.
You think that that's happening?
Oh yeah, I definitely do.
You think someone is pulling her to the side and being like, be as ratchet as you can be?
It's not worded like that. It's good though. The way they're putting it.
Who would be telling her that?
The few degrees of separation. So it would be like the few degrees of separation from like in a record exec, and then maybe there's somebody from the record exec that deals directly with like the manager. The manager deals with the what's they're saying, hey, they like what you're doing, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And then they find a way to reword it. I feel like, bro, I feel like it's there. They got these sponsors, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's there, bro. We know there was a hip hop agenda years ago. I mean, we won't have to go on that. This is not the hip hop show, but like there's an agenda. It's clear as day. I can't put the pieces together because I'm not the conspiracy theorist and I'm not even that deep with it, but it's like, it's clear as day, bro. Like what is always exposed with us when there is dope things that are actually happening that we're doing as well. But this is what seems to always be exposed, and it creates a domino effect. Like, I don't know the pieces and parts, but it's clear as day. Like, the backing and the exposure is right there. I don't know who's doing, how it's being set up. I'm not saying people can't be ignorant on their own. I won't discredit like somebody made me.
That's what I was asking.
I was never going there with it.
That's what I was asking. Okay.
Yeah, I'm never going there with it.
That.
They got to take accountability.
I feel like there's a level of accountability that she should have.
Mm-hmm.
And to address the clip, first of all, I disagree with the guy. I don't agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there's not proper representation of black people throughout media. I could turn it on ESPN and I see plenty of black women that are different from Sexy Red.
Okay.
Jamel Hill is a famous black woman. She ain't got one lick of sex appeal. There are a lot of different representations of black people, and we can't have it both ways and be like, oh, we're not a monolith if we're going to be offended when one black person acts a certain way, as if that's a representation of all of us. I usually don't hear other cultures saying, oh, Honey Boo Boo embarrasses me, that fat white trailer park trash, because those white people, they can disconnect. They know they're not those type of people. Or I never hear someone being like, shit, that's a bad example. It's a cartoon. But I usually don't ever hear other cultures, just us, and like this dude saying there, yeah, like they don't claim them. Or they don't say, man, that's embarrassing to all white people, or that's embarrassing to all Asian Americans, or that's embarraking to all of us as
I see
Puerto
what
Ricans.
You're doing. I see what you're doing, but you know it's not
what
the
am
same.
I doing?
You're making a great point. I like it from a human being standpoint. You're making an excellent point, but you know dang well it's not the same. You know it ain't.
In what sense?
Because we are the default in this country. Nigga, I don't care who's doing what. As a white man, I run this. I'm okay. I mean something here. I count. I'm the default. I'm going to do what I want to do. Like when it comes to us, we do have a stronger sense of pride because of like the origin within this country. I ain't gonna say all time because we know we didn't start from slavery and all that, but like the origin. So we're finally getting to a place, and I do agree with you. Like the monolith thing, I do agree with you. We do have other examples. It just seems like the regular cycle when we open up our phones always seem to go there. So it's like, that's okay. We'll show you on the television, but the television is becoming dinosauric almost. Like, when you got
but so that's true. You're not wrong in the sense of that, but who does the responsibility for that fall on? You are a good example of this. Like you probably don't see any of this ignorant shit that I ever send you unless I'm sending it to you. You ain't tapped into this world because you said it before. You don't want it interrupting your peace in your day by day. You in your world, the Mo world. Mm-hmm. But in order to contribute to this podcast, you do take a look at the stuff that I send over, and you open up to it. So my point is the same. Like the bad thing about social media is that it's so consuming.
Okay.
Like that's the bad thing. The good thing is you do get to more so than you ever have, way before TV, or way more so than TV or any other mediums. I get to really curate my little world here. Mm-hmm. If I don't want to see Sexy Red twerking on my timeline, 9 times out of 10, I can get that shit off of there and never see it again, bro. The one exception to that is that Christian girl in Blueface. I have no idea what kind of code they cracked to where they still get on your phone after you blocked it. That shit is amazing to me. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
However, you do get to curate your world. So if you don't want to see Sexy Red twerking on the timeline, you can keep scrolling, bro. But what you shouldn't do is put it up there like this dude did. Now you're adding more eyes to the conversation. Now you add more engagement and more likes or dislikes to it, and that is what drives it. Even if you don't like it, leave it alone. Like you're good at that, right?
Yeah,
but if you go do a whole think piece on Keith Lee because you don't like how the nigga came in Atlanta or whatever it may be, then people are gonna pay attention to it. It's what drives the internet. So I don't think we can have it. We can't have it both ways where you like, well, I don't want to see this, and here's the reason why. Nigga, I don't need your soapbox of your opinion. You don't want to see it, keep scrolling. But there are some people that do. However, know that if you don't want to see it and you do comment on it, you do post it, you do talk about it, that it's putting more eyes on it. And that's just the bottom line.
I hear what you're saying. That makes sense. But I do believe if we all start taking the mindset of just scrolling past it, I think it's going to heighten even more, bro. I think no matter what.
It wouldn't be making money. It wouldn't be making impressions, so it couldn't. Then you have no justification. That person that you said That person that you said is telling Sexy Red, they ratchet it up some. That person has no justification to do that now because it's not drawing any money in. People aren't paying attention to it. The reason that people like Sexy Red and people who are ratchet, Chief Keef, the reason that they're popular is because they do exist. Sometimes we as Black people try to act like those people don't exist because we want them to see what the majority of us are like. Mm-hmm. But that's not the real world, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to acknowledge that, yeah, Sexy Reds do exist. And usually I'm driving on past them. I'm not stopping in the hood to get out while they twerking at the red lights, bro. I'm keeping it moving because that's just not my crowd. But the more you stop and rubberneck and slow down and pay attention to it, just like with traffic, it shit builds up because everybody want to look now because you slowed down to look. So,
yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know what the middle ground is. I guess I don't know. As much as we want to make the comparison, when white people have this catch me outside, how about that girl pops up or whatever. It's just,
now, mind you, she just posted, it's funny you say that, she just posted her earnings for 2021 for her OnlyFans. Upwards of $18 million, bro. That's ratchet white people.
So
upwards of 18 million, and a lot of that's got to do with sex too, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah, bro, we this is a horny generation.
But I'm just saying, it ain't just, it is.
It's a
crazy.
Ridiculously crazy horny toes. Like,
it's insane.
It's insane.
It is insane.
I can't even watch a commercial. Like,
bro, it's wild.
Man,
definitely an over-sexualized situation, and maybe we just getting old. But my point to it is, she's a ratchet white girl that got on being a ratchet white girl. And while she's really not I don't see her in mainstream society, she's making a killing for herself. Somebody's signing up for it.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Where's the exposure?
It ain't getting pushed.
Exactly. That's it's all
getting pushed somewhere. We just not. Great point.
No,
we just not in that stratosphere.
Nah,
we just ain't in that stratosphere. Like, I don't see her because I don't pay attention to that.
I don't know how many degrees of separation it is, though. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's that far off. It's not like it's some like a Jessica Biel or something, like he's been doing some OnlyFans. Respect Jessica Biel. You know, I don't know if you ever hear this, but I'm just saying, like, it ain't like, she's doing the OnlyFans and like she been quietly made 18 million. It's like, oh yeah, of course. I'm not looking at this actress, but she's not that many degrees from, like, you know what I mean, hip hop culture, so to speak.
Oh, you think she closer to us than them?
No, she's not. I think it's all fake. But I think the persona, how it's algorithm wise, I feel like it connects more on this side than that side. But that's kind of goes back to my point with that, was like, why don't we see these things? Oh, it's low key here. Oh, she's getting it off, but it's low. Us, it's like, oh, but again, it could be what you're saying too. It's like we stop and highlight it and get on our soapbox, and so we blow it up even more. So I don't know. I guess sometimes just to put a button on it, it's just like, yeah.
To be honest, one last thing for you, we spend the most money on it. Like, you can look up any study you want to. Like, if they are trying to market to a mass amount of people and they're trying to use what we can or think that we relate to, because we spend the most money. Black people have it's notorious. If you look up spending,
we spend the most money. You said
we spend more money than any other culture. On I won't say on bullshit because I don't want to say, but we spend. Yeah, we spend more money at Christmas time, on holidays. We spend more money on clothes, shoes, all of those things. We spend that money. So if you are a big corporation and you know that, you're going to want to appeal to Black people in some senses and things that you think will make them spend money because you know they're going to do it.
Yeah, but I think the spending is over, like a part of like that's kind of that survival conversation we had, and then kind of like an overcompensated, like, true. It's a whole deeper thing I can go into as far as that, but we ain't got to get into that. But
you're right.
I can see that.
But the fact of the matter is, we still do it, right?
There's
a lot
fine.
tied to it, the trauma, but we still do it.
Yeah, I can see that. Because I'm always very interested when I'm at work or I go places and see how cheap white people are.
God, it's crazy.
I'd be like, bro, that's why I be looking like. Because one lady was like how many pair of shoes you have? Like, I don't have that many pair of shoes. I just rotate them so well. You think I got a lot? I probably got about like 6 pairs of shoes. Like, I mean, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but look, it ain't even just white people though. Like Indian people, South Asian people, really thrifty. Like, they probably got the notoriety for the most. They
body in that thrift bag, boy.
Man, listen to me, boy. Yeah, South Asians, Asians in general, like everybody is thrifty compared to us. I feel like.
Yeah, I know. It's the craziest. I don't know, man. We're gonna figure that. We're gonna have that conversation here. We're gonna try to help free us up from some of these habits. But yeah, man.
So what was on your mind when you came up with the theme blackness versus ignorance?
It originally was just blackness in general, like just being black. It's been a part of my heart. Been on my heart for a long time. It's just blackness. It's like, what is that? And I was thinking about, honestly, and I might have it in here in my note section, but I was thinking about, like, I remember when we used to say, like, back in the day, not everybody, but a lot of black people, like, if it was like a white person that was like, we say now, like, they down with the swirl or whatever, like they kind of down with us. We used to give them the card, like, oh, they black. Justin Timberlake, he black. Robin think he black. Like, we just be like, oh, they black. But now when I got older, when people say that, like, and I still see, like, oh, he black. No, they not. I don't care where I'm at, who I'm around. I tell them, no, they not. And that was like a thing that's always stuck with me. But bringing it back to this concept of ignorance, I said, a part of me started to think blackness, it's almost like blackness versus like niggaism. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, because it's like, I think that there's this richness in blackness, but then there's this other side that it's like, it's a part of the experience, but we can't just label it under black. Sometimes you gotta be like, okay, you just flat out ignorant. So I wanted to kind of distinguish the two and then just have more layered conversation about the black experience, just being black. You know what I mean? From our scale to a mass scale.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
You think that black people are portrayed as ignorant?
Yeah, I still think it's it's still there. Like,
really?
I think Obama being there was just like a rarity. Like, you said, what makes you say that?
Yeah, what makes you say that?
I just look at what's the driving force when you look at black people. Sports, entertainment. Anything higher?
And what's the driving force for any other culture? Give me another one. In their
politics, white people politics.
White people.
Yeah.
Okay. And you think sports and entertainment is more important to black people, or just as important to black people as politics is to certain white people?
I'm not saying it's just important. I'm saying when you look at from a mainstream standpoint, from everybody in this country per se, like, that is getting their idea or what draws their attention to this race specifically, I feel like those are the driving forces. It's what we do on the field or on the court, and what we do entertainment wise, from on the big screen, small screen, music, all of those things. I feel like that's just the driving force with us. So then there's other things we're great at. There's other things that we're doing. We're in politics. We're in all these things, but I feel like those are like the driving.
I think that's natural though, because more of us are successful in those fields. Like, there are more successful black athletes than there are, like, right? Like, when you agree,
I don't know, because that stat, they be like, your odds of getting in the NBA. So it makes me almost say, like,
most of those people are black though. The NFL employs, I think the NFL, if I heard this stat correctly, they employ the most black millionaires out of any corporation. This is because more black people play football, right? So that's just one of the industries that we happen to be dominant in. So you're going to see an influx of us in those spaces. You said it here before, like, even when we're talking about hip hop and entertainment, like, ain't nobody as entertainment as we are.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I ain't never stepping off.
Challenge me. Yeah.
I know that.
Me on that. Like, Taylor Swift isn't no Beyonce. Like, let's keep it a buck.
Let's be very
Taylor Swift is cold at what she do.
All right.
But it ain't nobody that could do that shit like, nah, she's cold. Don't do it like that.
All right. Like, we
recorded an album and sold 1.5 million for some shit that was already out.
All right.
She just went back in the studio and sunk it again and sold 1.5 million.
Sing me one Taylor Swift song, please.
I have no.
I ain't say she wasn't talented, but I'm like, all right.
I know the name of the album, 1989. I don't know one song. I couldn't tell you. I may be familiar if I hear it. But my point is, even on that scale, you would look at Beyonce and and anybody know that look at them gonna know who the better entertainer is. We just do it better.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be natural that we are overly represented in those fields. Our issue is paying attention to only those things, because, like you said, there are a lot of other talented brothers and sisters out there that do a lot of different things. They just don't get to know the record. They just don't get the notoriety they should, because the shit don't hit our radar. And it ain't because it's not marketed to us. It ain't because they not out there getting it in as far as being good at what they do. It's just like, do you know who Ta-Nehisi Coates is?
No.
One of the best Black authors of our generation, right? Great writer. He wrote some fire books, right?
Okay.
He probably could go word for word with any author in America. I would put him up there. As a Black man, I would feel comfortable saying, "Now he got us." But I don't ever see him. I don't see him in a lot of places. Like I would see say LeBron James or whatever, whoever it may be. And it's because, like, when you're gonna put him in a room full of niggas, they're gonna be like, "Man, who is this dude? I don't know him." Mm-hmm. Not knowing the critical acclaim, the Pulitzer prizes that he has, not knowing that if we talking about the LeBron James of writers, this nigga probably him. Now, maybe overstepping there a little bit. If there are other people, other authors out there that people listening know, man, y'all put me on game. But
yeah, for
that
sure.
was just the example that I have, because, again, going back to the Sexy Red thing, we get what we pay attention to, bro. So if we want better, I would put the onus on us to start looking for better. Make that shit just as popular as you make LeBron or Drake or whoever it is you may be. What say you to that?
Yeah, I guess we got to do a little more research. We got to definitely try to, get off the low-hanging fruit and, like, climb a little higher on the tree.
Like, of course, they going to give us, like, yeah. I think a lot of it is to do, a lot of what we see and that's promoted to us is white people's perception of Black people, which is why we stop and look at it and want to correct it. Mm-hmm. Like what you're saying, as far as there's somebody telling Sexy Red, "Hey, up it a little bit," or the person that told Bobby Shmurda to hop up on the table and perform in front of the whole office.
Nah, he did that on his own.
Like, maybe you may be right, but those images are the perception that white people have of us that we're leaning into because it makes you more popular, versus our actual perception of ourselves. Like, that's why it's so hard for me. Big Jeff mess with me about this all the time. It's hard for me to watch Black TV shows, bro. Because they hardly ever get it right,
bro.
Like, you'll be looking at it.
That's the conversation. That's it.
So, yeah, like, because they don't know. And the reason that we are upset about the shit that we get put out there is because they controlling well, I don't know if they controlling it, but it's their perception of what a popular Black person would be, or what a ratchet Black person would be. And until our perceptions start increasing a lot more this year with TV shows and things like that, you are getting a lot more Black voices, but we need more of our perception out there versus others' cultures' perceptions of us.
Are we our Blackness, is it too complicated to capture? Because it's like, I feel like with white people, there's only so many archetypes, right? Like I'm just like white men. I'm just gonna say like let's say 6 to 8
crazy
archetypes. I'll say 6 types of white men, right? Like I ain't gonna go down no list or nothing like that, but like let's just say there's 6 type of white men. But like Black men, it's like let's just say it's 12 types. You know what I mean? Like it's like
I think that's because we're more familiar with us, though, right? I know some white people, but I don't know. Well, I don't even know if I know 6 different types like you saying. We more familiar, so we know that.
Well, I know.
I think wait, right there, because that's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Twist that around what you said, and if we were 2 white dudes talking, they would probably say the same thing.
Okay.
They would
like
probably
4 types
say
of Black
it's
guys.
like 6 different. Exactly. And it's about 18 to 20 different types of white guys.
Okay.
That's our perception of it, looking outward.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Great point. So I was saying that to say, like, so maybe when we're watching Black cinema and we're seeing ourselves represented on there, we're like, oh, they ain't getting it right. Maybe because it doesn't line up with our archetype, because there's so many types of us.
Yeah, facts. Agreed.
So it's hard. So sometimes maybe it's not that they're not getting it right. It's that ain't the type of Black man I am, or type of Black person I am. So it doesn't resonate. But can I say they're getting it wrong?
Yeah, well, it would be not only is it not the type of black person that I am, but I know a whole lot of black men, and I ain't never met that nigga before in my life. That's the problem that we
Doesn't
have
mean it
when
don't
we talking
exist
about
though,
TV. Where would it exist? Me and you black. We done met a
bro.
lot of black men, bro.
But that's what I'm
So
saying, bro.
if you telling me that it's a white man sitting somewhere writing some shit for a show that know a type of black man that I ain't met yet in my 40 years as a black man, and I'd be hard pressed to believe that.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking like there's somebody black in the room as well. Like with this, like I think they try to do a little better with writing these things. I think they definitely try to do a lot better with that now these days, especially after I forgot what white dude stepped down when like this started going crazy, and they found out this white dude. I don't know if it was like
he was making more money or something.
I don't know. Yeah, he was doing. I can't remember. He was voicing something. But we found out some white dude was voicing a black dude or some dude stepped down before like the heat came. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, if y'all know, man, hit us up 470-318-5034. But how do we define our blackness? We say it, and it seems like maybe we're maybe we are, maybe we're not. This is just us black men speaking. But like, are we the only ones, and how do we define it, that use terms like blackness versus white people with my whiteness or my you know what I mean, my Asianness or my
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
think they just use heritage, right?
My heritage, okay.
My background.
Boy, you've been in the business a long time, brother. You ain't got the vocabulary. I got the sarcasm down, but I ain't got that far. You got the whole vocabulary. This guy is good.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
You know how to move.
I think that everybody has those conversations, and to flip it a little bit, but to still answer your question, is it racist if you like the blackness that you're talking about? If you want that, let's not want, but you lean that way, like you don't hate another group of people, but first and foremost, it's black people anytime, every time. Is that racist? You know why? I know why you laughing, because you see where it's gonna go.
It's prejudice. It's not racist.
Wrong? Is prejudice wrong?
It can be. It can be.
I feel like if you're hating another group of people to be prejudiced, then cool. But if you just like, I want my people to succeed, win, and I put.
But then what if white people say that?
Everybody else. That was the point that I was going to.
Yeah,
that's why I was asking you, did you think it was racist or prejudice? Because like, if you hear a white man say, "Man, I just want all white people to win, bro."
But
like, I don't got nothing against you, black person, but I'm rooting for white people.
See, this
like
is
if a white dude told you that would be crazy.
Yeah, you'd be like,
you would call him a Nazi. But we be like, shit, nigga. I'm rooting for everybody black.
See, this is what the challenge is, bro. Like, we're in a country where we're fighting for equality, but it's very hard to fight for equality of like all races, all ethnicities, all sexes, all treated equal, because like the origin of things, it makes the water so muddy. It's like, okay, because you're right. White people say that, you're looking at them crazy. Like, the black man, he was absolutely qualified. I want to look out for white people, because I love my people,
white brothers.
I'm my white brothers. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the white brothers. You know what I mean? Like, huh? You know what I mean? So it's like crazy. But then when we say it, it's like we're black, so obviously you're not gonna feel any kind of way because you're black. Like, but at the same time, it's hard because it's like the origin, the foundation of what this country was built on was from a divisive standpoint with racism. So it's like we kind of needed the pride because we didn't have nobody else out here that cared. Like, I don't know. That is always a conversation that can't. Yeah, it's just not a one time talk conversation to be had, because you're right in a way if they do this, but we can't. Only way we can get to that equality as far as like, okay, if they say I'm looking out for my white brother and we looking out for our black brother, but we ain't got no issue and we mean that with it, like we shaking hands, treaty, all that good stuff, and we understand that we got to work together at times, but then everybody got to start from scratch. You got to swipe everybody's stuff off, just like swipe everything, whatever, and everybody got to get from ground zero. But that ain't gonna never happen. So I always feel like we're always at a disadvantage. So I think being at a disadvantage opens the door for us to be able to maybe do things like that, even if by definition it could be considered racist or prejudice. I don't know if
that's the difference.
Yeah.
No, you own to something there. I think that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, due to the past and the history that people try to erase and try to say, "Oh, won't y'all just forget about it?" Unfortunately, we do need to look out because we were put so far behind. Slavery, Jim Crow, all of the pre-civil rights era, all of the things that happened to put a black man behind doesn't sound as crazy to say, even in 2023, for one of me or you to be like, I'm gonna look out for the young brother, man. I'm gonna give him his. I'm in a position to do so. Yeah, white dude might have been more qualified, but I'm trying to help a brother out.
Yeah,
it don't sound crazy to do so because we know the history in the past. However, I think again, as we talk this out, it sounds wild for a white dude to say, because you've been like, bro, y'all niggas y'all had passes your whole fucking life. Like you ain't necessarily had to be in a position where your whole race or being of people wasn't discriminated against. You had a running start. Like it shouldn't be no scenario really where you like, oh man, I need a little help. Like, bro, like y'all niggas had help for 200 years.
Yeah.
So I do think that, like you said, that's a good point that you bring. If you had to clear it by the slate, then it would be fair to say. But now you have to acknowledge like the way that black people were put behind the 8 ball, and the reason why we want to look out for each other. The reason why, because we can relate to our young brother going through it, or the brother going through it, man, let me throw him a bone, because nobody else in this world gonna do it for him.
Yes, that's it.
If I'm in the position to do it for my brother, then I'm gonna help you out. It hurts me. Well, that's another thing for another day. But yeah, if I'm in a position to help my brother out, then I'm gonna do so. When I don't know if it's how we look at white people or just how society has set it up. Like, I don't look at white people and be like, man, he had to help him out, man. He had to help one of his brothers out. I could never understand it, because I think that there's another opportunity around the next corner for each white man. I don't necessarily feel like a lot of things got to go right for us to get it. And I hope that doesn't come off like a victim mentality. That's the last thing that I want to sound like.
Yeah.
But it's a reality of being out here in the world, though.
Yeah.
As you do more business dealings, you have more conversations with people, and then people start to get contracts over you, or people get jobs other than you, and you see them and they're not as qualified as you, or may not even be as good as you. It's just like, it take a lot for us to get a break, bro.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Man, you're hitting so many pockets there. And so keeping it on brand, it's like, that's what makes, like, you sent in our group text, me, you, and Rick's, like, the black man that had to bring his child to his college courses, his class.
It was I think it was at Clark, and he tried to tell the professor. He told the professor, I can't make it because I don't have anybody. I can't afford childcare.
I can't afford childcare.
Class.
Yeah,
it was an important class. The professor wanted him to be there. The professor was a young brother, 26. He said, bring the baby to class. They brought the baby to class. He said, give me the child, so you can focus on your studies while I'm teaching. He had a little baby harness, had a little kid sitting on his stomach or whatever with the little harness. And he's like, well, I'm going to help you get this done because I know how hard it is. That's
the blackness that I love. That's the blackness that we're creating. That's the blackness that we're here to present. That blackness that I'm referring to, just in case it's not clear for those that don't know, and those that may not be black, that are listeners, it's the resilience that we have as a people. I've talked to, at a former job, I talked to a white man, and he didn't understand when I told him how you are already at an advantage. And he's like, and normally they'll hit you with, well, I grew up poor. I had to pretty much, the white struggle story, where some white people don't come up from money and all that. He hit me with all of that, and I heard everything he said, and he made valid points about him coming up in the struggle, trailer park or hood or whatever that is. And at the end of all that, I said, but guess what? You can clean yourself up and you can go walk into somewhere and you're going to get a fair chance. I cannot guarantee wherever I go, I'm going to get a fair chance because of the color of my skin. So you cannot tell me about we're on equal playing field because you struggled, as a white man, and I struggled as a black man, but we're even. We're not. But the blackness that I love is that resilience, how we come together. Like Spike is talking about, what's like, let me look out for the young brother. Let me help him out. He's trying to get his degree. The black woman that got kids, that's really, I've seen my wife do it. She got a college degree, like staying up all night, doing all-nighters, and I wake up and she's still there. Like the resilience that we carry as black people, how we have that humor where we know how to clown and joke on each other, but we know how to uplift each other at the same time, but like, and really say, bro, you good though? You all right? Nah, man, it's gonna be all right, pimp. We're gonna work through this. That's the blackness that I'm talking about. That's what I feel I don't see on a grand scale in our current culture that I wish I would see more. Just
grand scale like what?
Somehow, like, let's say Sexy Red was doing that, what she was doing, and then like somehow in the skit somebody came out and like she stopped the mic. He's like, you know what? I'm about to, you know what? I've been doing this, blah, blah, blah. I just did this to do this, but I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, blah, blah, blah. Like, just go, you know, like they be doing the rants. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. This is what it took for me to get to this spot. I mean, that may not be the platform. I'm freestyling. But I did this just to get to this spot because I was in a hard situation with my mom. This was me. This is the resilience. This is what I felt I had to do at the time. So y'all can judge me. Y'all can look at me any kind of way, but this is what I felt I needed to do. So when y'all see me do this, understand the purpose and where it's coming from. If this, you know what I mean? I could have been in the club. I could have been some kind of, you know. And
so you would feel more comfortable about it if she was more transparent and explaining her journey.
I'm not going to say I would feel more comfortable because I had to be so invested in her life, you know what I mean, her story. But I think that
But you could understand it more. I wouldn't say comfortable.
I think it speaks
you
more.
You could understand it if she explained it.
Yes.
If it wasn't just twerking, if it wasn't just the imagery, if it wasn't just my booty hole brown in the song, if you were able to hear her talk and articulate her story, it would register for you for you to be like, it would be easier for you to overlook it.
I don't think I ever overlook it, but I think that it, at least for me, like I'm not even on it like that, but on a grand scale, at least it honors to me the complexity of our blackness. That's it. Like I think words are needed with the action. You know, I don't think it's just one of one or the other. I think you need both. I think we need action, but we also need words too. You know what I'm saying?
So,
yeah.
Question: do you feel like that you owe people an explanation for your blackness? Like, do you owe people to tell them why your hair is like it is? Why you got a beard? Like, why you respond to some things the way that you responded? Or do you feel like you should just be given it right as a black person?
No,
you don't really necessarily got to know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Just know that I'm coming from there, nigga.
No, you're right. She don't owe us. Like, I know that. Like,
I'm asking you. Yeah, let's forget
I don't
I
feel like
know what you think personally is Maurice. Like, I don't really care. I'm saying, do you owe people when you having that conversation with that white man at your job, or you having that conversation with a brother that may not know you, or someone who may judge you incorrectly? Do you owe them an explanation on your blackness and how you got to be the Maurice that you are at this stage and age? Do you owe them an explanation on how I got to be this, and this is my blackness defined? Do you owe them that?
I don't owe that, but I do feel like it's necessary at some points because I'm looking at the greater benefit.
What places? Like, where is that necessary? Is it a workplace thing? Is that I'm meeting new homeboys and I'm telling them how I am type thing? Like, where is that platform where you like, well, this is the reason and this is the way that I am, like this is how I became the type of black that I am?
There was when I lived in Indy, the owner, he was sitting in a little break room with us and we was eating and stuff. And he was like doing a little pandering, talking about jazz music. He was an older white man, you know, talking about jazz music. I knew he was trying to kind of lean into trying to connect with the black, you know what I mean? And he was getting into it, and then he was kind of talking about music today, and that was probably at like, I don't know, 2014 or something maybe. And so at that moment, I didn't have to, but I just felt something in me to say, this is a moment to educate him. So I actually educated him in like an elevator pitch on the significance and importance of hip hop and how it's become the #1 genre. This was fresh after the info came out, and I said how it's been how it's marketable, how it is influenced and impacted every genre. I don't know how I did it, bro. I bodied it in like 3 minutes, and he was like, "Wow, wow, that was." You know, but I
Niggas
felt like,
articulate.
and I articulated
Oh,
it.
they'd be shocked when a nigga.
Yeah,
know how
like
to
he was
talk.
really thrown off, like how I articulated hip hop and the importance of it with the owner, bro. Like, but it was a moment that I felt the need to offer. You could throw it in the trash afterwards. I don't care, but I feel that I'm always looking for the greater good as far as how can I benefit somebody. You know what I mean? They could take it or leave it. It's not a waste of time to me. Like, I just don't. So it's. Do you feel like you got to explain your blackness? Like anything about your habits or your ways to anybody at any point?
Mm-hmm. Damn, this is a hard question for me. Being that I'm such, well, yes, I do feel like I need to give context. That way, you know who you're dealing with. It can be easy for a person to misconstrue who they dealing with if they don't have context. And then if they misconstrue who they dealing with, you get on this whole slippery slope of, oh, you disrespected me. Oh, I didn't mean to. Oh, I didn't know that. And this is whole weird thing. So for as far as context, what I mean when I say context is I'm always going to, or most likely, have my best foot forward. I wouldn't be sloppy. I'm not gonna be overly loud or sounding ignorant. I'm going to make sure that if you have questions, I'm going to try to make sure that you're not going to do a lot of assuming.
Okay.
That if you see me in a room, my presence should be, if you want to know more, ask me. If you don't want to know more and want to assume, don't do it incorrectly. Like, don't come to me with it. You take it home to your wife and your kids, and you talk to your homeboys about it, all of that good shit. But I don't want to have those conversations with you where you're coming to me incorrectly. So I'm always going to present myself correctly, how I want to present myself. So that's what I feel like the context is. Now, when we're talking about explaining, that goes to another level of intimacy you have with the person, as far as, okay, even if I do explain this to you, am I wasting my time? Like you said, is you going to throw it in the trash? Is it just a conversation? Is it small talk or whatever it may be? So it has to be worth my time as well to explain myself, but I am going to give you context with my presence. My presence is going to be context.
Wow. Where do we draw the line of ignorance? Because a lot of times, because it's this weird, I look at it like there's like three different terms that are kind of used: blackness, culture, and then like ignorance. Like,
whoa, how are you tying blackness and culture into ignorance?
No, they're not tied. I'm saying three different terms. Okay. Where it's like we say, okay, now this is my blackness. This is me being black. This is what black is. And then there's the other term where people be like, oh, it's the culture. This is the culture. I'm doing this because it's the culture. And then there's just the other thing where people won't even say it at all, but it's just ignorance.
I need an example of I'm doing this because of the culture.
All right. So, okay. So let's just say I'm really gonna freestyle this crazy. I ain't wrapped in a grip, but like if I'm like,
gonna hit it with some bars, man.
Right. No, I'm not about to hit y'all no bars. Nah. Y'all want to hear some bars, go to reverbnation.com/molitical if y'all want to hear my rap stuff. But
man, if you don't put that shit on Tidal and Spotify and Apple, nigga.
Bro, I'm not trying to make no money off of it. Like I don't own no rights to these, like these beats, bro. Like somebody can offer me a deal though. I like what what Joe didn't do. If somebody offered like Mo, like if you do a rap album as a podcaster,
retire.
I'll give you a strong 10.
Are you retired? Are you retired? Or you?
I kind of am, like, but it's always there. I wrote a couple
church hymns and nothing like that.
You know what's funny? My cousin always used to make the joke, like, I can see you handed out little miniature Bibles. I was like, bro, who do y'all think I am? I swear, like, yeah, just come hear me speak, man. Come hear me speak, because y'all think I'm like somebody totally different, but that's a whole other
ready for a revolution.
I promised the stuff. You know that was jamming, though.
You know that was jamming.
That is not me, bro.
You
But
can get that off, bro.
that is hilarious, bro.
Oh,
But
shit.
everybody know that song was jamming though. Like we ain't gonna play like that wasn't jamming at the time. Like anyway, but
oh, you were
right.
talking
Okay.
about
So Blackness, right? Let's say I'm rapping
yeah.
and I'm rapping at a barbecue with the family. We just having a little cipher. This is getting the blackness off. We doing this is what we do. Black family barbecue. We all
us.
yeah. Okay.
Line, you
Then you have a moment where, like, sorry to bother you, with Lakeith Stanfield. We always talk about the niggas. Like I'm rapping amongst like the white people, but it's like they're selling me on their end.
Maurice.
They're like selling me on their into it. No, bro, I listen to rap, man. I'm telling you, no, it's not even like that, bro. I really want to hear you spit, man. I'm a big fan of rap music and stuff like that. So now I'm like, I'm gonna do it for the culture. So it's not blackness now, it's culture. So then there's more invitations that go into culture. And then there's just ignorance, that's kind of self-explanatory. I don't know if I did it enough, but I just feel like there's we do this thing kind of was like, man, we doing it for the culture, and then we act like culture is wrapped up in blackness. So I don't feel like it's the same.
No, it's not. There's blackness and there's culture, then there's ignorance. And I think all of them are required at some points. Okay. I appreciate some ignorant shit sometimes. Like some
I do too.
Ignorant. I love it, nigga.
Yeah, that Funny Marco stuff is like, that's probably my ignorant bag. Well, I'm like, yeah.
That's your ignorant bag, right?
Yeah,
like, I can appreciate. I come from ignorant shit. Like that's my background. So
but unharmfully though, for me.
Yeah, I don't want to see nobody get hurt.
Yeah.
I can appreciate somebody getting checked ignorantly or respond to something ignorantly when somebody was way out of line. Like I can appreciate that. But also, like you're saying, for culture, I don't tie culture in with blackness because culture is so encompassing. I can't tell a white dude that's been listening to hip hop for 20, 25 years that he's not a part of the culture just because he's white. I can't do that. He do have experience in the culture. He does know what it is, and he may not be able to relate to being black. Maybe he does come from similar beginnings as some black people and can kind of relate to the struggle, but he still would never be able to relate to having black skin.
So
that's what blackness is. Blackness is, nigga, like you lived and you came up.
Yeah.
You can. When I start naming off these things that damn near all of us went through, you like, yep. I remember that. Like that is blackness, and that ain't the same thing as culture. Culture is different because culture can be all encompassing. It don't matter what color you are to be a part of it, especially if we talking about hip hop culture. Like hip hop, you said it was.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's number one genre of
music. Do we need to put something in front of culture? Like, do we need, because we say culture, but then is it like, do we need more specifics? Like, because we kind of do that with it when it comes to us. But I feel like if there was like Asian culture, and they would just say my culture, where I'm from, my culture, we wouldn't look at it like
Asian culture, right?
I mean, probably.
Like everything you can put. I think you can put damn near like you got wrestling culture, like people that love.
I know, but I almost feel like, do we need the title? Because with us being black, we always just say, "Oh, they're part of the culture," and there's this weird underline. We don't. So, are we saying hip hop culture? Or are we saying black culture? Because I almost feel like maybe we need to start titling instead of saying the culture. We need to title what specifically
urban culture.
Urban culture. Boy, you are
urban. Don't
you've been around them, boy. This man been around them, boy. You are Lakeith Stanfield for real.
Hilarious. Somebody came up to me and thought I was when I first moved to Atlanta. Somebody came up to me and thought I was dude. That's nuts.
That's crazy. Hey, that's all right though.
But no, it's urban culture because, like you say, like
urban
that
culture,
ain't necessarily black. That ain't necessarily hip hop or rap. But people, a lot of different people can relate to growing up in urban cultures, and they ain't necessarily got to be a certain skin tone. It's just I recognize what this is. This is either my cousin from it, I'm from it. I seen my dad explain it to me, whatever it may be. So urban culture is a lot more encompassing than I would get to before I say black culture or even hip hop culture. Because there's people that are urban that ain't hip
hop. This is so good. I'm trying to land this plane. How do you feel in 2023 about being a black man? It seems like a question we might have asked, but I don't think we have. And this is like right there.
Really?
And I don't know if we even sit and think about that.
No, I love it. I wouldn't sign up to be any other type of man. Like this is a is very few experiences similar to a black man's in America. If I could dare to say, not one other experience is like ours, but I guess any person could say that. A white woman could say that. A white man could say that.
The Nigerian that's in America could probably say that. You're right, but
don't even get me started on that. But yeah,
you know anybody? You know anybody like Nigerian? You know a dude. You said you knew a dude.
Nick is African. Nick first generation.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Nick parents are immigrants, I believe. Yeah, they came over here. He went back over the summer. Shout out to Nicky Duce, man.
Shout out to Nicky Duce, man.
Up in man. Yeah, I know a couple of brothers that are first generation, like African American. And that's different from just like being a black man. Like I don't care how offended they be, and if a nigga want to debate that with me on here,
me and you on the same page.
They do not have the same walk that we have, and I ain't saying necessarily that was easier or harder. I'm just saying it's not the same. Like I always say that about Barack. Like people try to say, like Barack he was a good representation of what you want a black man to be. But when you're talking about him actually experiencing what it is to be a black man in America, I don't think he ever went through that. As he grew up, I read his book. He grew up with his grandparents. They grew up in Hawaii and Indiana, I want to say. His dad left and he grew up with a white mom. Not taking anything away from his experience. It's just there's a singular experience about being a black man that another black man can understand more so than anybody else.
Bro,
so do I enjoy, huh?
No, I was just gonna say, bro, you ever just meet a black dude, you might shake up, meet him for the first time. There's just certain moments you might say, what's up? Or you might just have a conversation in the store, whatever. But like, there's this sense that you sense of a black man, like he's been through some stuff.
Just like me for real.
He's just like me for real. He's trying. I don't know this dude, but I could tell. I'm looking at him. He got it together a little bit, got his daughter with him or whatever. This man is trying. And it's just, when you said the Barack thing, it just made me think about it. I look and I be like, and sometimes I'll just smile. I'm like, man, the black man is trying, bro. Like he's trying to, he's doing.
He's doing.
Not
even just trying. That nigga doing.
He's doing. Yeah, but anyway, what was you going? I'm sorry, I cut you off. I hope I didn't break up your thought process with the Barack and the experience of being black in 2023.
Few experiences that are singular. Or excuse me, that like being a black man. I think that's a singular experience. So when you say, do I enjoy it or how do I feel about it? I appreciate it. I wouldn't ask for any, like I wouldn't want to be born again as another race or color. I think that we are the coolest genre of people. Just overall from top to bottom. Like when people be like, damn, man, that nigga like that, like
we're the most cool, well equipped.
Naturally cool. Pause. Or well equipped. But yes.
Oh,
hey yo. But yeah, I think we carry ourselves a lot.
Well equipped. It's crazy.
Well equipped is
everybody's the name of the episode. No,
Jesus Christ. God.
Chapter 67. Well equipped.
Pause in quotations.
Oh man.
Parentheses or whatever it may be. But yeah, man, I enjoy it. Like there's nothing like, because we always the most interesting motherfucker in the room when we walk in there. If you're a black man,
yeah, that's a fact.
You know how to hold it correctly, man. You the most like it's either gonna be like, you're right, nigga doing it, like or like, bro, man, what he got going on? It's we are the most interesting person in the room when we walk in there.
How's it at the job?
Like
for you?
All of us.
Like, how do you think they look at you? Like as are they looking at you like, okay, things are getting interesting. Spike just got in. Like, or this is coming up. I'm gonna ask Spike this. Like, do you feel like there's that like gravitational?
That's a good question, man. I'm so oblivious of my presence sometimes, and I never really pick up on until people start making comments. Like at the job, I don't work in the office too often, but when we do go, like just to give you an example, one of the most successful people at my company, I would say he probably the best person doing what I do. He's at the top of the charts, right? We're cordial. I know him. He cool brother. We're not friends. I don't really know him like that, but cool. Like we speak, me, I know him. We've been working together for a couple of years. Based off what he may have seen on Instagram, me playing golf, doing all the different podcast stuff. I said this on here before. His approach to me, like, hey, what's up, Rich? That's richest nigga in here in the building right here. What's up, brother? But that's somebody referring to me who's like seeing success that I'm nowhere near at this company. So he's referencing that off the sense of, I seen you on Instagram playing golf 3 weeks in a row, nigga. Or I see the shoes you got on when you come in here every time. It's a different pair or whatever it may be. But that's just how that's me. I'm not going out of my way to do that or anything of that nature. So when you say what's the perception or
is there like a natural gravitation? Because, you know.
Yeah, there is. And sometimes I'm so oblivious, bro. I miss it. I be in my own only child. I was just talking to Joe this week on the phone, bro. Only children have this way, man, or we can just be like, I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm really trying to blend into a wall, my nigga, like, because I don't really want to talk to you. And it's hard for someone like me to do that when a motherfucker see me. And even like, I got this Cowboys hat on, like, to be a Cowboys fan and want to fade off, like, that's the most polarizing fan that it is. But I'm going to have my Cowboys hat on. I'm going to have a nice pair of shoes on. I'm going to look nice. People that have any interest in following what I do, they'll see it and be like, this nigga got a lot going on. However, I really never noticed that when I walk in a room. And that's either to my detriment or my benefit. I'm not really sure yet.
So
but it ain't really like, I don't walk in a room and be like, I'm shit. I'm this nigga. Like,
I mean, I believe that, but it's like, you're such a strong observationalist. It's kind of, you probably need to turn that slider up on your observational bag.
What do you mean?
Because you're really good at observing. Like, you got that locked. You got it locked. Your slider, your 2K slider is up there when it comes to observation. It's up there. You probably want to turn that part of. That's like one of the sliders under observation. Like, you know, you probably want to turn that slider up and just like, yeah. But
what say you? What about you when you walk in the room? When you go to church to preach a sermon, or you go to work on the like they be like, oh, that nigga Mo here, boy, we finna get a word today.
I mean, it'd be like that, but but that even outside of that, even outside of that, it's like and like at work, like one lady is like, I mean, I'm the only black person like in upstairs in like the office or whatever, and it's like they be like, man, it's really quiet in here.
And niggas down in the warehouse, ain't you, dog?
Nah, it's only it ain't. We ain't even got a warehouse set up. It ain't even like that, bro. It's real nice.
I thought you were saying that
because we do apparel. We do
upstairs.
Well, we do apparel, so everything is nice and neat. Nothing's really dusty, hard. I mean, yeah. So it's like, somebody be like, man, it's really quiet in here. I'm just used to more noise and stuff. And it's like they'd be like, Maurice, you haven't said anything. You've been quiet all day. And I flat out told her and then I told her, I was like, I'm always like that though. I only really talk when people talk to me. I know how to carry a conversation, but I don't really talk unless people are talking to me. And when I start realizing like certain people, how they act, where they kind of lean into black references, that's when I start to pay more attention. I'm like, oh, it's that black gravitational pull. Just by my skin being different, by my hair being different, my walk is different, my talk, my humor, my voice, everything about me is different. And you're drawn to it for whatever reason. And so I just embrace it. I really do. Like, I'm not saying, oh, we're better than white people or nothing, because it ain't nothing like that. Because I've learned a whole lot from white people. And that's another conversation I want to have. Because while we talk about blackness, we definitely need to have a conversation about things we got put on to by looking over the fence to the other side of the white waters.
You got to bring Dan on for that.
Dan ain't he? You know he ain't here for that. He don't want to be the white representative. Like,
I don't care.
You don't know no other white guy?
White person. Yeah, I do. Chris,
I know one white guy. I do know one white guy. Joe.
I do, but
all right, we'll get it. We'll put it together. Well, I do want to, but it ain't gonna be like that type of like racial divide conversation. It's more of it's gonna be a unified conversation. But nonetheless,
United Nations type shit.
We are the world type.
We are the world.
Hey, my daughter loved that.
You ever
song.
seen that video of Michael Jackson when they were recording it?
No, I see
That's
the actual video. That's hilarious though. They talk about him mad at the dude singing.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
That is so you. Oh, that is so you.
I can't believe these niggas came in here bullshitting like
I can't believe.
I'm
Look,
in
do you see what I got? You see what I got on?
Yeah, nigga, I'm Michael fucking Jackson. Nigga, y'all be lucky I'm even in here recording this with y'all. Y'all in here playing.
Your bumps, your bumps. All of it was funny, bro.
That's my personality.
But before we get out of here, Spike, what you got going on real quick?
Same. This
Same.
another week in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Good earners. Told you big announcements coming. I think when we officially release what you and I were talking about, Mo, and some of the partnerships that have presented themselves to us, we'll make some announcements and let people know what there won't be any changes for you as a listener, but just more people are going to be added to this pot as far as exposure. And that's going to be a good thing for another week in the books. So that just the big announcements, man. Going to be working, getting everything out, still doing a low-key season finale is this week. I think it's a live broadcast. Y'all check that out on YouTube. DeadEnd Sports, another week in the books, good earners, on deck TV show.
It's fire. And I'm coming for Nikki Duce's spot. I ain't reached out to y'all yet, but I'm gonna have to find. I know I gotta find when we gotta.
All you gotta do is just be like, hey,
I know.
I want to come on.
I know. I'm trying to find like the window where it's like, oh, I don't have to record 3 times because that's time away from my family. So I'm trying to find a way to, like, if we're not doing something this day, boom, I'm gonna hop on. But like you said, all those things, good earners. Reviewing the Sopranos is cooking. We about finished with season 3. Roll the audio drama series. I want to share something too before I get out of here. One, I was privileged and blessed enough. A lady at my church, she asked, could I go visit her grandson? I wanted to mention this at the top, but it slipped my mind. She asked me to visit her grandson. He's in jail. He got into some trouble, and I was very open to it. When she brought it up, she said, I feel like you're a little younger. It might resonate a little more with him if you talk to him and stuff like that. And I was ready to do it. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. But then, like, my internal thoughts set in. I started getting like real like anxiety and nervous about stepping into a jail, because I'm starting to be like, bro, it's gonna be triggering to me. I don't want to go back into no jail and do this. But I finally ended up doing it after like probably 3 weeks, and it went really well. I was happy to talk to the young man, and I got a good report. She had ended up hitting me up, and I seen her at church, and she was just very grateful that I got to go see him. So I'm glad I got to do that. We talk about feet to the fire. We talked about youth and doing our part. He's 20 years old. So I was glad to be able to do my part and talk to this young man and just be a moment for him to kind of escape, so to speak, for a moment while he being in jail dealing with what he's dealing with. So I'm glad I got to do that. And also I want to tell y'all that are listening, y'all go check out Sly. It's Sylvester Stallone's documentary on Netflix, man. It's really fire, and you talk about making a way when everybody counted you out. You have got to check that out, bro. He said, I'm in the hope business. And I didn't took that. I said, that's what I'm in. I'm in the hope business.
Rocky?
Yeah.
Rocky?
Yeah. Really? He said, I'm in the hope business. Sorry if you don't want the hero to die in the end. I don't want that because I'm in the hope business. I said, hey, look, I'm adopting that. So here on another week of the books, we are in the hope business. You know what I mean? We want to do something positive. So, man, y'all reach out, awitb2022@gmail.com. The phone number, 470-318-5034. Always appreciate y'all, man.
Absolutely, man. Y'all leave us some voice notes so we can play on the show, man.
Yes, sir.
We out.